When the behemoth-class aberration finally tore itself free from the ground, it let out a deafening roar. The sound rolled like an earthquake, and a violent gust of wind followed, nearly knocking everyone off their feet. The ground trembled, dust filled the air, and in that moment, the protagonist understood one thing clearly. There was no more room for retreat. They had to stop the aberration, no matter the cost. Song Rui shouted that if they failed, the monster would destroy the entire town, leaving nothing behind. It was already obvious that reinforcements from headquarters wouldn't arrive in time. With no other option, he turned to Captain Tang and asked for full cooperation. His voice carried urgency, but his resolve was firm. One of Captain Tang's subordinates tried to speak up, panic clear on his face. But Captain Tang stopped him immediately. He reminded everyone that Song Rui's team had once subdued a behemoth-class aberration before. Still, he admitted the truth. This time was different. For their current group, victory was nearly impossible. Retreating would be the safer choice. But before he could finish, the aberration released a terrifying breath attack. A trembling voice shouted that they had to survive, no matter what happened. At that moment, Captain Tang stepped forward. "I'll handle it." He unleashed his technique, Glacial Star Slash. In an instant, a massive wall of ice formed before them, thick and towering like a frozen mountain. The breath attack slammed into it with a thunderous impact, but the ice barrier held. Jin Ying couldn't help but praise Captain Tang's defense. Without hesitation, Captain Tang gave his orders. He would focus on defense. Everyone else was to attack with everything they had. Hearing this, the protagonist felt uneasy. Did Captain Tang really have the strength to block repeated breath attacks from a Demon King-level creature? If so, what had gone wrong earlier? Seeing his silence, Song Rui asked if he was okay. The protagonist replied calmly that he was fine. Before they could adjust, the aberration charged again. With a violent movement, it shattered the ice barrier. Song Rui immediately countered, firing a powerful blast from his weapon. Jin Ying followed with a sonic wind blade, the two attacks striking in perfect coordination. But the aberration moved faster. With a single sweep of its tail, it erased both attacks as if they were nothing. As the protagonist prepared to attack, he realized the problem. The creature's body intensity was terrifyingly high. Long-range attacks were useless. They simply couldn't deal enough damage. He rushed in and launched a series of close-range punches. But the aberration counterattacked instantly. He couldn't avoid it. The blow sent him flying, rolling violently across the ground. In that moment, he understood. Close combat was just as deadly. This aberration was far more aggressive than the one they had faced in Chishi City. Then, suddenly, it stopped. The team noticed signs of exhaustion. Jin Ying, however, discovered something more alarming. His readings showed that the aberration's vital signs had been weak from the very beginning. But every time the eye on its forehead glowed, its movements became unstable and more violent. The truth clicked. The creature had been trapped beneath the ground for a long time. It had internal injuries. That was why it couldn't maintain continuous bursts of power. Realizing this, Song Rui immediately understood. The key was the eye on its forehead. They decided to focus all their attacks there. Together, they charged, aiming for a single point. But before they could reach it, the aberration reacted. Red crystals embedded in its body suddenly flew outward, and detonated at the same time. The shockwaves from the explosions completely blocked their assault. The protagonist realized what was happening. The aberration was using the crystal explosions to defend itself. That realization made Song Rui uneasy. It felt as if the monster could read their movements, predicting their tactics before they acted. Because of this, the protagonist asked if Song Rui had a better plan. After a brief pause, Song Rui nodded. He did. But it would require perfect coordination. No one hesitated. Everyone agreed. The protagonist shouted as he charged forward, openly provoking the aberration and drawing its attention. According to the plan, he would force it to target him and trigger another breath attack. When that happened, Captain Tang would block it. And the moment an opening appeared, they would strike together. From mid-air, the protagonist unleashed his technique, beastification. Fist. The blow landed cleanly against the aberration's body. Song Rui praised him while preparing his weapon, then fired a burst of purple energy. As expected, the aberration attempted the same defense again. Song Rui immediately ordered Jin Ying to destroy the crystals. From above, Jin Ying shattered them one by one. With its defense broken, a powerful attack finally struck the target. It wasn't enough to kill the aberration, but it sealed its abilities. Everyone turned to Captain Tang. Without hesitation, he stepped forward. I'll finish it. Gripping a spear forged from extreme ice, he hurled it forward, the heart-piercing spear. At that moment, everything seemed perfect. The plan had worked. Victory felt close. But then, Captain Tang smiled, and the spear did not fly toward the aberration. It was aimed directly at the protagonist. Before it struck, Captain Tang whispered an apology. And just before the impact, the protagonist felt a terrifying presence approaching from behind. The chapter ends here. Watch out for our upcoming uploads. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you'll always be updated on our future videos.